Good morning, everyone. We shall start in a few minutes.
Good morning, Pranav. This is Prasad here. How are you?
I'm fine, sir, and very thanks for attending this session.
Thank you.
I request every participant of the session to kindly mute their mics and turn off their videos for a smooth conduct of the ceremony. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think India Startup Summit. I, Pranav Maheshwari from ISAT Pune, on behalf of Think India, warmly welcome you all to the morning session of Day 7 of Indigenous Utishta Bharata, Think India Startup and Innovation E-Summit. Organized from 1st to 7th November 2020 in collaboration with All India Council for Technical Education AICTE, Software Technology Parks of India STPI, Institutions Innovation Council IIC, Ministry of Education, Innovation Hub, Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Gujarat Technological University and MNIT Innovation and Incubation Center. Think India is honored to have such wonderful changemakers from the space and tech sector of the startup and entrepreneurship ecosystem. This session is also live from Think India Facebook page and iHub live recording. Without any delay, I am honored to introduce our first speaker of the session, Shri Prasad Bhattisarji. We are really honored to have you among us. He is Chairperson and Chief Technology Officer of Astrom Technologies. He is a serial entrepreneur and a researcher. He did his master's and PhD in computer science and automation engineering from Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore. He loves code technology development and has been an architect for various technologies including a microsatellite, a visual search engine, a stochastic game theory solver, the software tool for the latest 3D measurement TI chipset. With a warm welcome, I request you, sir, to take the session forward. Before that, if anyone has any question during the session, they are requested to type their questions in the chat box only. So we will have then a question and answer session with you at the end of your session. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Pranav. Thank you for organizing this, and I thank all of you for being in this session. And I hope that you will enjoy this and also make utilization of this to learn something, do something better. Let me start with my presentation. I'll share my screen to begin with. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. When Pranav and others had approached me about this session, so I was thinking, what is that which can be useful for others to know from what I've done so far, and what can I tell? So instead of say giving general advices, I thought I will stick to what I have learned and say walk you through the things that I've learned and mistakes as well as I would say corrections that I've done in my life. So hopefully that would inspire others to say perhaps not do those kinds of mistakes or do something much better. So with that as a context, so I begin. I first start with right from my childhood days to now. What are the various things that I sort of learned as technologies? Right in my school days, I would say one of the primary things, apart from the various subject-based studies, was visualization in geometry. I had a very good mathematics teacher then, and who was good in explaining and giving me a visualization. I mean, I'm very thankful for her. So that was way back in my school days. And when I went to pre-university, of course, I had a good set of teachers both in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. But the primary thing that I would like to highlight there was it's like it was a sort of a curiosity of trying to understand my surroundings. What are the things that happen in my environment, and try to explain it with the various physics or chemistry principles. And the mathematics part was about giving a structure to that. So that was something of a development, I would say, curiosity-based development that I had in these areas, which later morphed into a bigger area of programming, where expressing the same principles by writing programs started way back before start of bachelor's almost, which I pursued and learned various languages. In 2003, I utilized that further to enhance to administration of close to 100 machines. So that was sort of one step forward. And in fact, I had released one distribution of Linux at that time in my bachelor's campus, NITK, called as Panini Linux. So that was a start point for me to explore in terms of as a system architecture. And that's where I led further into my master's at IISc into system design, and further down into deep tech areas such as all of the machine learning and say reinforcement learning. So, in fact, with my professor at IIC, I had co-authored a book on reinforcement learning related techniques that is available on Springer. So this is sort of a technology kind of roadmap that I had, where the way I see this journey is not like, okay, try to gather information, but it's about try to understand and try to put a structure to what's happening around and see how best it can be utilized to do something. So that's where the next aspect came in right before my PhD and right after my master's for a year. With a few of my friends from IAC, I had dabbled with one startup called as Silver Oak Systems. So that was into healthcare. So where I would say it was like we were very eager to say just use whatever we had learned and try to put it together into a software for healthcare. Of course, we were not clear headed about okay, who will use it, why will they use it, and all of those aspects. So obviously that did not fly very well, but it was a technology exercise. So but that gave us a important handle further, saying that see, it's not about technology. Technology is very important to realize the end goal, but pure technology alone is not enough. So there has to be a market attention to it, and then it makes sense. So when I started my second venture, right, I would say in the last year of my PhD, 2011, Streamoid. So this was a deep tech startup in visual search. In fact, three founders, we started it together. So there we brought in the best tech from research. We morphed it, we modified it, we upgraded it, engineered it, and made a cloud-based search engine, which is not driven by text but by photos, visual clicks from phones. So when we developed that engine, uh, we were looking at, okay, this can be used in so many applications, but we missed one critical point there. We again did not see the specific markets of interest and then tuned it right from the beginning. Rather, we developed the tech and then tried to fit it for different cases. So it took us almost like 2+ years just to figure out which is the right market for it. And now it's successful in fashion industry. So that is where that is a very popular platform in three different geographies. It's moving on further. It is now based in headquartered in US as well. Um, so that company in 2014, sort of, I handed over to some other people, and I'm just a shareholder now. In 2014 to 15, I basically consulted to TI based on my experiences with all the software development that I had. I entered the embedded domain more prominently, where I developed the full stack software for the time of flight sensors. So in fact, if you search for TI's TOF sensors, it's a successful product, chip-based product, which is available for different applications. Its primary focus is, of course, it's like if you take a photo in effect from it, you can get the depth information from that as an image. So that is where things were going. So this is how I would say technology plus market growth that I had in till 2015. So in 2015, myself and my co-founder Neha, who is also my friend from my friend and colleague from IAC masters days. So we were interested in say developing something from space. So we were just looking at various technologies or various say applications that can be there from space. um, the very first thing, because of a particular contact in US, we started working on a re-entry project, in fact. So we had developed one fuel-less re-entry technology in 2015 itself for a different company in US. In fact, that is patented as well by that company now. So that was like a start point to say that okay, we are getting into the space sector from there. But we were very clear that we want to go the market route this time. Even she had a prior experience in two other companies, so it's like we had alignment saying that okay, market is the right thing, and then we'll develop the required technology. And when we looked at different areas, communications, imaging, interplanetary missions, in fact, there's a lot of talk related to, say, Mars colonization, which has been going on since last 5 6 years now, and asteroid missions. Very big investments have happened in that domain. But when we looked at all of these, what was very clear to us is that one key problem which needs solution right now for customers or people who on ground is communications. We don't have very good communication infrastructure. That's what we identified. So it was like a funnel to a specific problem that we arrived at. That is from saying that we want to solve problems from space for Earth, and then we funnel to communications and specifically internet connectivity. So that is a kind of funnel that we ended up with. And when we did a study of the demand of market, it was clear that the primary demand is which is upcoming and even growing tremendously is in the developing country belt. In fact, India witnessed a very large growth um, in 2016, 17, 18, even now, and it is like ever growing demand. Even because of the COVID situations, the things have become even more dire of a demand. So even now, despite the demand, if you look at all the service providers that exist in the market, there's a one third demand to supply gap, with very big players like Geo also coming in into the market. It is still not enough to satisfy the needs of the market. If you consider the rural, the semi-urban, and the urban, all of them put together, it is still largely unsatisfied. So this put together a perspective for us saying that okay, how do we understand the market and what is the real pain point? Why is such a large gap still present in the market? So when we looked at that, if you look at say the terrestrial solutions that exist and the space internet solutions that exist, space is great in terms of deployment, coverage, and even the cost of say per kilometer square maintenance. All of those are great because you just need one rooftop antenna at the best, and there is no job of laying a cable to your home, whether you're in urban or rural. All of those cost money, and also they are tedious to maintain as well. So none of those problems are there with space. But one primary problem that has been there and it is still not addressed by even upcoming constellations like the SpaceX Starlink constellation is the cost per Mbps. The cost per Mbps is significantly large. Even though I think from 600 it will come down to about 200 in case of Starlink, but still it's largely unsatisfied. Even the capacity that each satellite can provide is very, very small compared to what let's say a simplistic one fiber line which can be laid to a home. So these all factors in combination with say our interest led to the point saying that okay, we want to target communication technology, a high end technology which can satisfy this need, which is with low cost per Mbps and very high capacity. What can be the technology which can do this? So that is how we entered the technology side of it, and we developed a core communication technology, which is a wireless active antenna array based technology, which allows for reusing large spectrum and create pointed wireless links. So it's almost like, let's say, if you have, say, four locations to connect, and you want to, let's say, traditionally speaking, lay four, say, three cables from one point to another, other 3 points. Here, it's like you would put uh, four devices, and one device talks to the three devices wirelessly in a pointed directional link. So this kind of technology is unique globally now, from our side, in terms of one device connecting to multiple devices, fully reusing the spectrum without wasting any time or frequency, bandwidth, things like that. And this being in millimeter wave opens up very large spectrum. If you are any of you are familiar with the RF spectrums, when you go to higher frequency bands above 30 gigahertz, the bandwidth that you can use is very, very large. So we made use of that aspect, as well as the technology innovations that we did. Put together, we are able to do this multiple point to point. That's what is core technology name that we have given. It's a multiple point to point technology, which solves problems in three, or I would say two primary ways. One, we can use this to create large number of say links from one rooftop to other rooftops. So this turned out to be, I would say, a pure terrestrial play application, not involving space, which is gigamesh pathway as well as gigamesh 5G edge, which gigamesh pathway is already, I would say, launched from our end. We have a field deployment. We are working with different customers and then taking it forward. And there's a version of it which is 5G integrated, more compact, as well as completely integrated into the 5G stack, which is coming up in a year. And the same technology, which can be used to create multiple links from one ground station to multiple satellites, as well as from one satellite to multiple ground stations, creating very directed high directional links. So that's the technology which will be coming up as a product form in 2022. So this is the kind of products and I would say roadmap that we have based on the technology. So if you noticed, compared to my earlier ventures to this venture, we did not start with saying that, okay, we know wireless technology, let me make use of that for something. So instead of that, we started with a problem statement, said that, okay, where is the gap? What is that is which the market demands? And then we started developing a technology for that purpose. So that I mean, when we talk about all of this, this brings into the more generic points of entrepreneurship, or some making something, say, useful and hence potentially successful in the market. So, from a personal core point of view, I would put these three dimensions to keep in mind. One is being fearless about doing something new. Just to give you what I mean, just to give you an example for this case. So, my core background is not communications, neither wireless or wired communication. So I have a background in electrical, and I have background in programming and computer science. When we studied the market, we understood that we have to develop wireless communication for this, and that was enough. So we said that yes, let's pick up things. We'll understand what is the way it needs to be done, and then when we started from that angle, it was very easy to spot something new which the current wireless products have not even reached anywhere close. So in fact, if you see, most of the innovations that are happening in the market is about cross domain innovations, where people from other domains are entering different domains based on market demands, and then creating a product which is completely unique, different from what exists in that domain for, say, 20, 30 years. So that requires one key feature, which is you have to be fearless about it. You should not think that, oh, this is not my cup of tea, or this is not something which I want to do. So when you put that kind of barrier, it doesn't proceed. So that's one key dimension. And then, of course, you have to be very organized and disciplined, and you should not accept a no answer for any any hurdles that you face. So that is where you need to be very persistent. But from a professional point of view, the key learnings and the key points that I can highlight is that you fit technology to market. If you go that route, you would usually not succeed, because you are trying to say that I know this, I want to somehow utilize somewhere. Rather, you have to see what the market demands, and then see what is that you can develop for the market. So that's a key professional attitude that I would say is necessary for creating something successful. The second thing is that no failure or no success is to be treated as, oh, failure is bad, success is great. It has to be treated all on par, because each one has to be treated as a learning. What you let's say you failed on something, it's take the learnings from it. That is the most key attitude that you need to have. Even success, quite often in the, let's say if you feel that, oh, this is great, this is working now, it may not be enough, because it may die out in 2 years, may do whatever. So that's why you need to understand that as a learning, and then move forward. And the last piece that I would say is that when you develop a new tech for a particular market gap, make sure that you go incremental. Don't try to make a perfect product and then deploy. You would never succeed. Rather, you make one version, deploy it. The early one gets the market. It is not necessarily the best one gets the market, but once you have got some market share, you can always spend your energy in improving it further. You will have the capital coming also from the revenues. So all of that would essentially aid to better success. So this is all that I had to say. So I don't want to take any more time in terms of telling my own points. I want to hear from people now. What kind of questions or any things that you have to ask me?
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation on space industry and how a company is changing that. If any one of us has any question, that can put it in the chat box, and next we will take question answer.
Okay, great, fantastic. So Harsh, I give back the Harsh and Pranav. I give back to you guys, so you can continue.
Sure.
Okay, I think Vishnu Vardhan has a question. Who would be
Yeah.
your competitors? See, this is a question which has been evolving over time. When we initially started, we were looking at pure service play, but now it's a product play. So our competitors are mostly those who have, say, other wireless solutions in lower frequency bands, and basically who are also upcoming in the 5G space. But the space that we have is to be very clearly identified, so that you know, which is basically the backhaul kind of infrastructure, which is aggregated high capacity links. This is not a product which we are doing for communication directly to the end user's phone or something like that, but it is an infrastructure oriented one. So I would say our competitors are basically product companies in backhaul kind of sectors. And there, the edge that we have is that this is capable of forming multiple directional point-to-point links, which is not there anywhere globally. Okay, I think we have more questions coming. I'll go to the next one. How did you pick up new skills for your product, which are different from your domain? Is the point that I was saying, which is the necessity. It's like the necessity drives it. So if you are clear that let's say this is necessary, that wireless communication has to be learned, we'll understand the grounds from it, That's it. That is a necessity which drives the new scale. Whereas, okay, Anil has another question. How could we build monopolistic market for our product? Monopolistic market. Now, let me put this in a slightly different wording. When you start with market, the first thing that typically is done, in fact, if you read the literature about selecting the market, they will talk about something called as blue ocean strategy versus red ocean strategy, where blue ocean strategy stands for a domain which is not explored at all by others, where you come up with a innovative solution. It's like an unanswered problem or unanswered or untapped market to which you create a new product. So that is one kind. Other kind is red ocean, where there are already products in the market, and then you are coming up with something which is innovative, which is not present by for others, and you have an incremental edge. The general guideline or general way people would suggest from a higher success point of view, you would look at the blue ocean strategy, where you try to identify that market segment which is untapped, and then you create a product for it. So I hope that answers for Anil. I'll move to the next one. I think Ankita has another question. The space industry in our country is not very well known. Very few people know about such things, but times are changing. What do you think how it will be in the next 10 years? So Ankita, I would say this, that the space industry is definitely picking up if you're keeping track of the way the new regulations are coming in place. The space is now open for business for from private entities. It will take about a year for things to settle down from the government policy side and so many things. But I think it will be the best. I would one of the best places where you would be able to build, say, space-based applications, as well as say satellite-based different solutions for ground problems. I think only next to early movers such as the US market. What is your stance on the Indian government allowing room for private space companies? Neha is asking this. Yes, I would say this is a thing that had to happen long time ago. It has been delayed. I'm just glad that it is happening at least now. It should have happened at least say 20, 30 years ago. Then the we would be on a level field with so many other countries. And Ashwin Verma, if you are not the one in technology in the technology side, but still have an idea outside of your area of expertise, how do you go about selecting the right technology co-founders? Okay, so here comes, and this is a bit tricky. So when it comes to co-founders, one of the key things that I can say is that the number matters. So usually, when I've seen from VC's point of view, a single co-founder case, there are lesser chances of investments. Whereas if you have a co-founder strength of two or three, then the investors see that the risk is divided and things are better. But if the number goes beyond three, like four, five, 10, something like that, then the decision making within the team is very, very weak. So that makes it difficult. But now coming back to the specific point that you're asking, having a right technical co-founder is, I would say, is not an easy job. You have to, I think, go one-on-one. There is no specific answer that I can give you, Ashwin, in terms of selection. I think it can go only with your personal dynamics with the other person, how you value interact, and um, it's like, let's say, the other person, how well he exhibits his capability either in what he already knows, and let's say that is applicable to you, or what is his capacity to learn something new and work with you. Okay, now coming back on other questions. So Vishnu Vardhan, one out of the all the competitors, how likely would the customers pick services by Astron? Vishnu, just to clarify, we are a product company now, not a service company. So the from just rewording this to products. So what I'm saying is that we have an edge which is multiple point to point. What does it really mean to have multiple point to point? It means that from one device you can connect to multiple other devices with highly directional, fully reusing capacity kind of links. Now this would translate to, if you consider other products which are purely point to point, you would need one pair of those products to create one link. So if you consider a scenario of 1 to 3 units, so you need basically three at the center and one at each of the periphery to create the three links. So totally six devices to be deployed. In our case, that comes to four devices, one at the center and three at the periphery. So this directly translates to a reduction in capex for telecom operators and various ISPs, and it also brings down the opex because the deployment cost is all lower as we have electronic alignment. So the whole links can be controlled remotely. So that is the edge that we have over other competitors. So Hunnar, what do you think about the future of startups which are not solely focused on tech but solve other market problems like black buck of business? See, tech, as I said, tech is a means to solving the problems. Tech itself is not, I would say, enough to be successful. So the market decides. So if a market requires a particular technology which already exists, which you can reuse, please go ahead and do. You don't need to say that, okay, I am a technologist, so I want to somehow build some technology and then apply. No, that is not the right way. You say that, okay, this market gap can be addressed with this technology which already exists. Please go ahead and use. Once you use it, you will automatically figure out that, okay, I can do xyz increment on top of that tech and then make it better for this. So it is not I would say tech is a means to solving the problem. Tech is itself not the solution. Yes, I think Vishnu, I have already answered that. So from somebody, Sartak, what should government do to improve communication infrastructure? What is your message to government, sir? Okay, I would say the government is already doing a lot of measures by involving private companies in expanding and deploying various networks. For example, the BharatNet project, there are several private players where are getting involved in helping it reach the rural audience. So I would say that is one key thing which is involving private sector in deployment of infrastructure. The second one, which I think they are say dilly-dallying but working towards, is say simplifying regulations for usage of spectrum. So I believe that is something which is an open topic, lot of things to discuss, but that is exactly what is happening. Yes, I think this hopefully addresses all of your questions. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask.
Sir, I don't think we have much questions.
Hmm.
And thank you, sir, so much for joining with us. It was indeed very interesting and interactive session.
Thank you.
Now, our next guest, Shivani ma'am, is not here with us by now. So we will start with our third guest. We have Sunny Kabrawala sir with us. He is a person who inspired to educate millions, inspire billions, and make space for everyone. He is the director and CEO at Star Orbitals, which is an Indian space private rocket company that aspire to make space economical and easily accessible. It developed launch vehicle to launch small satellites to lower Earth orbit and beyond. We welcome you, sir, and I request you to take our session forward.
Sure. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning, very good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I don't have a presentation, but I'll share my story. I'll share the story and the journey and the experiences that I had throughout my startup journey, how I got started, and what all things we do today. So, I guess I have 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. We can complete it by 12:05 and
Perfect,
25 minutes by then.
perfect. Okay. So I was I found my passion at the very young age of 10 years, and I was in school. I was sitting in the living room. I was watching a news channel, and they were showing that Sunita Williams was going to return back on Earth. So I asked my mom that who is Sunita Williams, and she told me that she's an Indo-American astronaut. And then I asked her that what does astronaut do? She said that they go to space to do some research work. And then I asked that why do they go to space? Uh, she said that you'll get the answer when you'll get grow up, like because she didn't have answer for the same. Now, the very next day in the newspaper, there was a picture of a space shuttle, and I hope you guys might have seen a picture of a space shuttle once in your lifetime. It's a rocket that looks like an aircraft. So that was there in newspaper. So I got fascinated by design, and I decided to make one model. And that was my first non-working rocket model that I made in my life. On the very next day, I went to my school and I decided to show it to my teacher. And I was completely introvert at that time. I didn't have confidence to speak in front of anyone. So my teacher asked to the class that how many of you saw News Channel on Saturday? At that time, I could not recall, but then she asked that how many of you know Sunita Williams? Now I raised my hand. I said she's an Indo-American astronaut, and that was for the very first time I got the feeling of being a scientist because in the class no one else had the answer for the same. Then she asked that what does astronaut do? Now I told her the same thing that they go to space to do some research, and then they again asked that why do they go to space? But now I cannot tell her that आप जब बड़े हो जाओगे तब you'll get the answer, right? But then I decided to show that non-working rocket model to my teacher with an expectation that she might get happy, but was really angry after looking at the design. She was happy, basically. The reason was I made an American flag on it. So my teacher, she said, but make another rocket, but with an Indian flag on it. So I promised her that one day I'll make a rocket that can fly with an Indian flag, and I never imagined that that promise was going to be so serious and I'm going to find my passion at that moment. So how I got interested into the objects that used to fly, and then uh, slowly and gradually my interest toward space and space-based thing it got increased. Not only related to rockets and satellites, but even astronomy, astrophysics, space theories, and everything that was related to space. At that time, I didn't have internet connection at my place, or I didn't have a smartphone. So what I used to do was I used to watch a lot of discovery shows like Cosmos through the wormhole, then how does the universe work. So these were the shows from which I used to get the knowledge, and I used to even watch read in encyclopedia. Then it became my dream to be an aerospace engineer. Now, in our country, most of the students they think that aerospace engineering is the only way to be into space industry, but that is not fact. And even I used to believe the same. So I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, but I started messing up with my studies. Like I failed in ninth grade. I failed in mathematics in ninth grade. I got 60-70% grade in 10th. I failed in physics in 11th and I got 42% grades in my 12th. Now, that was not enough for me to get into any elite institution or even in the organization with aerospace engineering background. So, I got admission in one of the local colleges in Surat into electronics department. But my passion for space was same. And in childhood, I used to attend a lot of space camps which are organized by the ISRO scientists and the other scientists who were there and other agencies. And that is how I used to just network with people, and I used to meet people, and I used to get fascinated about the ongoing projects which were there at that time. Excuse me. Now, when I entered my college for the very first time on the very first day, the only thought that came in my mind was that after 4 years, when I get out of this college, I should be known for only one thing, and that is space. And I started working for it. Now, like every student, for first 3 semesters, I really worked hard. I studied well, but in fourth semester, I got two backlogs. And in engineering, once you get a backlog, then it becomes a legacy. You keep on getting backlogs, right? That is what happened with me. But then, till my fourth semester, me and my friends used to make a lot of model rockets, and we used to fly them. Then in 2014, one of my classmates, he called me late night. He said that let's make a club and let's include more and more students, and let's start working on model rockets. At that time, and it was 5th November, and this was in 2015. So on 5th November 2015, we formed Star Club with an intention to build model rockets. Now we used to build these things in gardens and parks. We didn't have working space, so we used to work there. So what used to, like the kids there, those who used to come to parks and gardens used to play there, and they used to come and sit with us, and they used to discuss about rockets and the astronomy and other things with us. At that point, we realized that we were able to teach rocket science to the kids who were just 10 to 12 years old. So that is the point where we realize that rocket science is not the rocket science anymore. Like we use this terminology rocket science in order to resemble something and that which is difficult. So we realize that rocket science is not the rocket science. It can be understood easily, it can be implemented, and you can make your rockets and fly them. I'm talking about the high-powered rockets and model rockets, which can go up to few meters and kilometers. So that is what I realized in 2015. Now, I'll cut my story short. I'll share 3 to 4 incidents that happened with me and that helped me out in pursuing my dream of being a space pilot. So in 2015, it was my first industrial visit to ISRO. I was in third year of my engineering, and it was my first industrial visit to ISRO. And like every student, when you reach to the campus, you see a big logo or symbol of ISRO, and like every student, you want to stand there and click your picture and put it on social media, and that is what I did. I put it on social media with a beautiful caption that after 2 to 3 years, I'll be working here as a scientist, and it's my dream place and all. Then we entered, and then the ISRO scientists, they showed us all the rocket models, satellite models, they explained everything. In the end, they said that you can now ask questions. No one was asking questions, so I raised my hand and I asked the question that, so how can a student join ISRO after graduation? What are the criterias? And he said that one of the criterias, most important criterias is your academic performance should be good, and you should not have backlogs at least. And I had backlogs at that time. And the only thing came in my mind was that I asked the wrong question to a wrong person. But then I really got depressed. I was really sad that now I cannot be a part of ISRO. I have to do something else in order to sustain in this industry and to work and to contribute in this industry. So I was depressed for almost a month, but like there were a lot of negative thoughts that were coming, and one thought that came in my mind was that there are a lot of kids who want to be a part of this industry, and not everyone can afford being into IITs, NITs, or ISRO. Then is these the only ways to be a part of this industry? And the answer at that time was no. So I decided to build a platform which would make space accessible for everyone. Not the actual space right now, but at least it could give the experience and the learnings to the students who want to build a career in this. So that is what came into my mind, and I had never heard this word startup or entrepreneurship. So meanwhile, I was teaching students about rocket science, how to make rovers and all. So 2015, this thing happened with me, and then we started Rocket Club, and then everything was going good. In 2016, we started working on KenSet. We worked on it for 3 months. We stopped that program because we were not able to build communication systems. Then in December 2016, one incident happened with me, and then that changed my perspective, and that gave me a tagline named "Spaces for Everyone." So my college actually got a receiver from ISRO, and that receiver was for the navigation system of India, that is IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. We most of us know it as NAVIC. So five girls from different colleges, they were doing their final year project on that particular system at my college campus. So my professor worked on that very hard, and he did a lot of research on that particular receiver. And I just used to sit in his laboratory observing him working, and he used to explain me all the concepts. So I was clear about all the concepts which are there behind the technology. Excuse me. So in December 2016, there was a symposium which was being organized by Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, which is one of the ISRO's wing in Dehradun. And my professor told me, with five girls, you have to go there, you have to present a paper. So those five girls were gonna present paper. I was just playing a supporting role. I was traveling with them to Dehradun, and in train, one of the girls, she asked me that, Sunny, where is the presentation? Where are the slides? I said, see, our presentation is going to be there in tomorrow afternoon, and we are engineers. We do not prepare our slides a day before. And she said that, Sunny, I'm really nervous. I don't know what I'm going to speak there. I said, don't worry, okay? Be safe now and everything is going to be good. Morning, I thought that I would prepare it in train, but then my mood was not there that I would prepare my presentation in train. So I delayed it. I'm a very big procrastinator. On the next day, in early morning, she called me up 8 a.m. She asked that, we have our presentation in afternoon. So where are slides? I need slides to prepare. I said, see, don't worry, right? I'll give you slides by lunchtime. And, and she said that I'm nervous. I told her one thing, and that gave her confidence that the center of ISRO in which we are standing is responsible to build remote sensing technology. So scientists have got no idea about navigation, and she got confident now. She got confident, but the fact was different. Like scientists that know everything, about space and the tech that they are building. So I told her that इधर के जो scientists हैं उनको navigation का कुछ नहीं आता, and now she got confident. In afternoon, we entered the seminar hall. The first presentation was going on, and on the last slide of the presentation was the name of the person who was presenting it, and the name was Dr. Anil Kumar. Now guess who was he? He was the person who built that navigation system for India. He was one of the chief scientists of that mission. And remember what I told to that girl, that scientists have got no idea about navigation. So that girl turned and looked at me. I told her only one thing: best of luck. Because I know that what I knew at that time, that something wrong is going to happen now. But the presentation, it went really well. Next day in the conclusion session, we were six people sitting in the last row in black t-shirts. You will always find us in black jersey. We were sitting in black t-shirts, we were gossiping, and there was a conclusion session going on. They were giving vote of thanks. In the end, they said that now we'll have the award ceremony. So we thought that they will be honoring each other and the scientists who were there. But they said now the first category is the paper presentation. And there was an announcement that the best paper presentation goes to people from Surat. And we were shocked. I was completely shocked because in exams, if I get RHS equals to LHS, I doubt myself. This was a achievement. That was so. Girls were shocked, and I told her to go to stage and to hold the certificate. They ran like anything, giving me their phone and asking me to click the picture. I was standing down. I was capturing their pictures, and they were holding the certificate. But that day, I learned one thing. All the other groups and the participants who were from IITs, NITs, and ISRO, we were only group of students from a local college, without any advanced, without any mentors. But we were able to grab that, and that made us realize that space is not limited to engineers and scientists. Space is for everyone. And on that day, I decided that now I'll work very hard to provide space education to each and every kid, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the community, the nationality, irrespective of their financial backgrounds, their academic backgrounds. If a person is a human, they are most onto our platform, and we are ready to teach them. So in 2017, it got incubated. We started work model rockets. We launched the first CanSat successfully. We got an appreciation letter from NASA engineers at that moment. That was first press conference we faced. Then, excuse me. Then we started working on rocket motors because we used to buy from foreign countries, really expensive. We started making them in-house. We're successful in building motors. We have tested 900 plus rocket motors till now, and then after that we started working on a Mars rover prototype, where we built a Mars rover prototype which we tested it. Then again, we worked on another CanSat and a CubeSat which got selected to be launched from Mexico, but we were not able to provide them satellite on time. So initially we worked on each and every, like most of the space-based technologies, but then in 2018, and at that time, we got a lot of limelight through TEDx, Joe Talks, Uganda, where we shared platform with our former president. Like we were there in public now. After that, in 2018, we started focusing on one particular thing, that was rockets, because Team Indus contract with space with ISRO got cancelled, and that made us feel really insecure that if India have capability of building rovers and satellites, they should not be dependent on only one agency to launch that in space. We need a lot of launchers in India right now. So we started focusing on rockets, and now I'll skip most of the things, but I'll tell you one thing. I was not able to work in ISRO or with ISRO at that time, but then in 2017 I got a call and from a random person, and then he asked me everything about Star. It was in October. Then he said in the end that, who am I? I said, no, sir. He said, I am the chairman, or I'm the director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Exhibition. We are going to complete 50th anniversary of the first rocket launch of ISRO, and we would like to invite you to launch 2 rockets from our campus. We went to ISRO, and again I stood in front of the same logo. At this time, the caption was different. It was like ISRO was one of our, like Vikram Sarabhai Space Exhibition, that is a part of ISRO, was one of our early customers at that time. And I was fortunate enough to launch 2 rockets and provide them the service of launching rockets from their campus. So that was something that happened with us. And after that, like in 2018, like we gone through a very struggling phase. We didn't like we were incubated till then. We were incubated by my university. Then we got out of it. We didn't have working space again. We set up 2 working space now, and then 2019 again, and then we got incorporated. 2019 we introduced a very new business model. 2020 pandemic happened. We have to restructure our business model. After pandemic, again we are restructuring our business model. We are coming up with something which is going to provide hands-on experience to students on various technologies, like landers, like lunar landers, lunar based rovers, then even building satellites, testing them, launching rockets across India. So we're coming up with something which is really big and fast. Like 2 days back, we completed 5 years as a startup. And a quick note that this company got started with a 0 rupee investment. None of the founders, they put a single amount of money into this, and we have not taken a single rupee as a grant or investment from any of the person. This is completely run by students and by the customers. We add value in their life, and they add value in our company by providing us the funds. So, I just wanted to convey this message because a lot of entrepreneurs, they believe that investment and funding is one thing and most important thing to run a startup. It's not important to take the first step. It's just like you need fundings to scale up your company, right? But even if you don't have fundings, you still have your biggest asset, that is your team, your idea, and your execution plan. Just go for it. And last thing, that is what I call the $1,000,000 question. The 4 tools which were shared by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, I would like to share with you. First is, every youth should have a dream in your life, because Having a dream will give you a direction, right? And again, dream should be based on your passion and not interest. So what is the difference between interest and passion? So interest is like a crush that keeps on changing, right? Like if you fight with your crush, that you don't take much thing into consideration, right? But passion is like a wife that remains one throughout your life, like for most of us. Like if you fight with your wife, if you are going through a struggling period, what you do is you sit with her, you discuss all the issues, and then you take a break and you come out with a solution, right? And that is what you need. A lot of patience with your startup, and that comes when you're passionate about your work. When you don't keep options, right? You should not have options in startup world. Something is important, go for it. Elon Musk said, right? So that is a similar way. If you have got one student, go and teach to him. Don't go that I need 100 students to start my company. No, right? Second thing is perseverance. You'll fail a lot of time. I recommend not to avoid making mistakes. Make as many mistakes as possible. Don't repeat them, but make as many mistakes as possible. Analyze your mistakes, analyze the outcome, and take the next step, right? Lot of people, we think that the journey is going to be too far. Launch vehicle company, like you need to put something into space, it will take 2026, 27 to put something into space. I know that. But for example, if you want to travel from Surat to Ahmedabad, your car headlight is not going to be there from Surat to Ahmedabad, right? It is going to be there just for few meters, like 2 to 3 meters during night time journey. But with just 2 to 3 meters of headlight or vision, you complete a journey of 300 kilometers. That is how thing works in the world of startups. You can just have a roadmap, but you should be there for ready for every thing that you which is going to come in your way throughout your journey. Third is hard work with devotion. There is no substitute of hard work. We lot of kids, we believe in smart work, but for to do smart work you need to be smart. To be smart you need to get experience. To get experience you need to work really hard. So that is the only way right now which I can see. And the last thing which someone have written very correctly in the comment section, thank you Vishnu for writing that question, that is the $1 million question. Whenever we see Facebook, we remember Mark Zuckerberg. Whenever we see Apple, we remember Steve Jobs. Whenever we see missiles, we remember Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, sir. Every kid here should ask themselves one question. That is what I call the $1 million question. That is what you will be remembered for. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed. You didn't get bored. And I'm open for the questions now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a really, really inspiring session, and your story is really nice. Now, ask our participants to slide in their questions in the chat box. So, one question that you have already told about, what will you be remembered for? That is your $1 million question. That's true, and everyone should think about what will you be remembered for. Any more questions?
I would like to get questions, because if you have any question based on space, based thing like space entrepreneurship about your startups, like not compulsory that it should be related to space, but if you have questions based on your ideas, your questions are most welcome.
So there is one question from our Facebook chats. What is the future of space entrepreneurship in India?
Okay, so like when we talk about future of any particular domain, the first thing that comes in my mind, what is the demand for the same, right? So let's start from the tech side. Like you know that a lot of small satellites manufacturers are now coming up into the industry, right? And first, like Earth, we know that lot of companies are for Earth-based satellite systems, but now there are a lot of companies who are also working and focusing on lunar and Venus-based mission, even for Mars as well. So now, a lot of space-based missions are going to increase. So in that case, you need rocket companies in order to put those things into space. So a lot of rocket companies will also grow. So when one segment in space is growing, and even a satellite is consist of antennas, they consist of power systems, the ADCs, they consist of the structure. So the small scale startups who are focusing on the particular subsystems, they will also get opportunities. So in space, everything is related to each other. All the operations are connected directly, indirectly. So if one grows, the other also gains the potential to grow. then like when a lot of rocket companies will be coming there in the market, which you can already see in pandemic, a lot of rocket companies which got started during the pandemic as well, and a lot of companies also got heavily funded in India. They will need human resources in order to build products, right? And they don't have enough of time to train in like every one of them. And you cannot always keep on taking people from ISRO or DRDO, right? In order to save the human cost. In that case, space education companies plays a very important role because they provide basic principle. They teach students things from basics. They provide internships, training, and everything. In that case, these students will get opportunities in the startups, and startups will get the, the fruitful employees, which can really add value to their company. So that's gonna be a win-win situation. So I guess in India, in next 5 years, you'll be seeing a lot of satellite companies and rocket companies already operating and generating revenue. I won't say that they will have their break even, but at least they will start generating their revenue, and there will be a huge demand for employees who are, uh, focusing mainly on into space segment.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. There is one more question. You mentioned that there are many other ways to get into ISRO other than aerospace. So, what are these ways, and in terms of branch as well as level of education? Also, what can a space robotics enthusiast do to improve their knowledge base in the industry?
Good question. So, if you see then any of the space tech, it consists of a lot of disciplines. Like to build a satellite, you need a structure, right? You need a bus, and all these things that comes into mechanical engineering and material science. In order to build their flight computers, like onboard computers, command and data handling, communication systems, you need the knowledge of electronics and communication. In order to build electrical power system, you need the knowledge and experience in electrical engineering. So one, space is multidisciplinary. That is what we say. So, you need to be expert in one thing in your one particular domain, and then that is how you can add value, and that is how you can be a part of the show. I came across the statistics that there are a lot of electronics engineers who are working there in ISEC and the in the SEC, that is Space Application Center, which is one of the center of ISRO in Ahmedabad. There are 70 to 80% of the electronics engineer who are employed there. So these are the various domains which you can focus on, and what you can do is you can see that you can check that what are the missions they are going to work in future. I guess they are planning on the human based mission as well. In that case, they need to work on spacesuits, right? And there comes the role of material science and biology students as well. So, you just need to relate whatever you are doing with space and space-based thing, and come up with your ideas and get experience. And you cannot directly go to government. It's if you can, then it's good. But you can talk to the private companies and you can do your internship there and gain experience. And about space robotics, it is going to play a very vital role. If you talk about the Dragonfly mission, which is going to be a chopper type mission on Titan. Then there we have got the rovers mission, which are planned for Moon, Mars, and other heavenly bodies in solar system. So I guess not like everywhere you cannot send humans, and even where you can send humans, you won't send them when they first go. You have to send rovers and robots there. So in that case, what you can do is you can study about the various mechanisms these agencies are working on, and figure out why they are working on, like why they are not planning to send a rover on Titan, why they are flying the spacecraft there. So study about the atmosphere of these particular planets. What are the pressures? What is the atmospheric density there? What is the gravity of that particular thing? And accordingly, you can design your own space-based robots as well.
There is one more question, and that is what problems could be solved by space entrepreneurship?
You solve a lot of problems. First thing, let's talk about common people. We use internet. We use a lot of communication media. We use, like a lot of tools to predict our weather and even the climate. In lot of cases, we use internet for education. For these all applications, when space technology make things easier for us, and that maintenance every time, right? So these impact the life of common people as well. So first thing is a very huge impact is there in our day-to-day life. We use navigation like GPS for navigation as well. Okay, that saves times and fuel both. So first thing is it creates an impact in the common people life. Second, what I believe is that Earth is going to become next Mars. The way we are using resources, right? The way we are using resources, and we are just polluting our place right now. Earth can become like Earth is going to become next Mars. It will take millions, billions of years. I don't know, but the way we are doing, and if we don't take any step, it will be a dead planet then. And Mars can be next Earth. It can become a life planet, right? The existence of human or intelligent life in our solar system depends on what happens first, right? अगर Earth पहले Mars बन जाता है, there won't be intelligent life in solar system then. So what we need to do is we need to work and we need to find out resources from on different planets as well. We need to figure out how can we send humans to other planets. How can we sustain life? I know it's a very long term plan, but we can try it out at least, right? And space people, they are always crazy about their ideas, and for them any like no idea is crazy. Like for them everything is possible, and they look up to how can they make it possible. So I guess this is the way we can create a good impact in the short term as well and long term as well.
Sure, sir. So now we have our last question for this session, and that is, we always have a lot of options. So the general question is, what would people think when we give them a lot of options and tell them to choose one option?
So when we give them like now I'll talk in the perspective of the person who is getting the options. What I'll do is I'll see that first the thing that the work I'm doing should be aligned with three things. That is, first is the purpose, like what is the purpose of doing that, and the purpose should not be self-oriented. It should be oriented to the third or to the other people. Like I want to work in space education just because I can teach students and they can get employed and they can learn something. Second is the passion. Now I know that I like teaching. They want the learnings, but I like teaching, so that there's a connection there between both of us. And third is what you will be paid for, because in order to sustain and in order to go for a long term plans, you need that even the person whom you are serving is adding up some value to you. It can be terms of anything, not only money, but even in the terms of feedback, even in the terms of network or connections. It can be anything during your initial phase of your journey. So that is what. And you know think of a long term. Don't think that whether this, like right now, it's not right time to do this, the market is not there. But if what if the market is going to be there after 5 years or 10 years, and you need a time of 5 to 10 years to manufacture whatever thing you are building. If it is going to take a long period of time and market is going to be there after that particular duration, you should go and you should take that risk of getting into it. So I guess selecting one thing and taking a decision is always a very crucial part of an entrepreneur. And you should go with your instincts, and you should go with the statistics and data that which you can get it by doing a research online and offline too.
Yes, yes. There is one more pressing question, and that is like when students are in one particular branch, it is tough for them to switch to some other branch. So there, this question is in respect to a commerce student. She is asking that she is a commerce student and how can she contribute to space technologies?
So that depends, like in what way you want to contribute. If you want to contribute in the commercial side, in the business development side, then you can surely be there. Like now, these companies have got a very strong tech background, the tech support. They have got ISRO people as a board of advisors, and they have got engineers, but they need to generate revenue, right? They need to sell their product in the market, and for that they need people who are good in commercials, who can value their product right in the right way, who can place their product in the right market by promoting in the very right way. So I guess in these things, commerce students can play a very important role. And if a commerce students want to be there into technical side of the company, they need to really work hard, and they need to learn each and every thing on the software and hardware side, which through which they can contribute. So it's not that you need a degree. I don't know about the other companies how they are recruiting, but I can easily talk about Star. For Star, you don't need a degree in a technical or engineering background, even if you are a commerce student. But if you are well versed with the what we say hardware and software side of electronics or mechanical, you can get an opportunity to work here. So for us, we never ask for your university or your college background. You always just look for what you're passionate about, how many mistakes you have made in your life, what all things you have tried, and what are your strengths and weaknesses. That's it.
Thank you very much, sir. And your story was really, really inspiring. How you didn't start from some top college, but get to this stage. And you are now guiding a lot of students. Thanks a lot, sir.
For this opportunity. Thank you, guys. Take care.
It's great to have you among us. Now, I shall move on to our next speaker, Shri Shivani Chakra Chhatriji. She is a designer founder of Round Umbrella Company. Round Umbrella is a boutique product studio based in Ahmedabad, India, creating simple and unique digital physical products. We aspire to build a tangible legacy through their products. In 2016, she graduated with a Master in Design in Product Design from National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. She is also an electronics engineer graduated from NIT Surat, India. She loves making tangible products and her interests are making 3D and tangible products which are useful and educational for kids. Now, ma'am, I would request you to continue your session and guide us with your piece of advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. एक बात बोलना चाहती हूँ. The company is called the Round Umbrella, and it has literally, fun fact come from my name. It is called Chakra. Chakra का round है, छतरी का umbrella है, and that becomes the Round Umbrella Company. तो आप नाम ले रहे थे इसलिए. Round Umbrella, okay. सनी जी से मैंने उनका अटेंड किया एंड आई रियली वुड वांट टू नो. जब से छोटी हूँ आई वाज ऑलवेज थिंकिंग कि लोग स्पेस की बात करते हैं, स्पेस में कैसे चले जाएं. पानी के अंदर कोई नहीं जाना चाहता, और पानी के अंदर भी एक दुनिया है जो बहुत ही यूनिक है, जिसके एक मछली आप कोई देख लो और यू सी द कलर्स, यू सी हाउ इट मूव्स, यू सी द क्रिएशन बिहाइंड इट, एंड यू फील कि ये कैसे कर लिया यार, वो गॉड इज ग्रेट. एंड मेरा हमेशा से रहता है कि जब कोई स्पेस के बारे में बात करता है तो मेरे दिमाग में पहले आता है कि कोई पानी के बारे में बात करे, कोई पानी के नीचे की लाइफ के बारे में बात करे. तो थैंक यू सो मच सनी जी फॉर कमिंग हियर एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पेस, एंड आई वुड होप कि कोई मेरे साथ पानी के नीचे की बात करे. ओके, to go next, I am Shivani Chakra Chatri. I am a product designer and currently अभी बात करते हैं, अगर आज हम सब ये मीटिंग में नहीं होते और एक्चुअली फिजिकल इवेंट में होते तो क्या ये मजा डिफरेंट नहीं होता. अब ये सिर्फ कोविड की बात नहीं है, इवेंचुअली हम यहाँ पहुंचने ही वाले थे. नाउ इमेजिन एक बच्चा है जो आज 8 से 10 घंटे कंप्यूटर की स्क्रीन के सामने बैठा रहता है, दिस इज आवर आइडिया ऑफ एजुकेशन, हम ऐसे ही पढ़ा रहे हैं. नाउ इमेजिन अब हम ये मैग्नेट्स लेके बैठे हैं और आज से 10 साल या 15 साल बाद हम किसी बच्चे को ये मैग्नेट दिखाते हैं और उससे बोलते हैं वो कहीं हमसे ये ना पूछ ले कि यार ये मैग्नेट चार्ज कहाँ से होके आई है, इनके अंदर मैग्नेटिक पावर है तो यहाँ पे कहीं पे कोई E5 है क्या, या कोई कहीं से ये चार्जिंग होके आती है क्या. तो द डे आई प्रॉब्ली आज से कुछ 5 साल पहले जब आई वेंट टू जर्मनी एंड एज अ प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर, तब मैं इंजीनियर से डिजाइनर बनी थी. तब इंजीनियरिंग जब होती है तो आपका पूरा लेफ्ट ब्रेन चलता है, जो भी लिखा पढ़ा है वही दिमाग में जाता है, ड्राइंग कम और लिखा हुआ ज्यादा. तो उस समय जब मैं अपनी उस जर्नी से जा रही थी तो मुझे एक बार ऐसा आया दिन में कि जर्मनी में मैं चल रही थी, लैंग्वेज समझ में नहीं आ रही थी, बहुत ही कम अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी लोगों की. वहां पे मैंने एक बार एक शैम्पू की बॉटल उठाई और उसपे नाम भी जर्मन में लिखा हुआ है, कुछ पढ़ नहीं पा रहे हैं. और सबसे पहली बार मैंने देखा कि यार मेरे को शैम्पू है या कंडीशनर, अब इतने पैसे नहीं थे कि शैम्पू ले लूं या कंडीशनर ले लूं. और जब मैंने वो ड्राइंग देखी और मैंने देखा यार इसमें थोड़ा ज्यादा झाग लग रहा है, ये शैम्पू होगा, और दूसरा वाला इसमें थोड़ा कम झाग लग रहा है, ये कंडीशनर होगा, तो एक काम करते हैं ये ले लेते हैं, और वो सही निकला. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई अंडरस्टूड कि यार एक एक राइट ब्रेन की भी लैंग्वेज है, एक विजुअल लैंग्वेज की भी एक दुनिया है। अगर सारा टेक्स्ट बंद कर दिया जाए तो एक विजुअली आप जो देख रहे हो उसकी भी एक भाषा है, उससे भी आप एक परचेज कर सकते हो, उससे भी आप एक टैंजिबल डिसीजन ले सकते हो। तो वहां से मुझे समझ में आने लगा कि ओके, एक राइट ब्रेन की जो दुनिया है उसको अगर हम समझ के ट्रांसलेट करते हैं तो दुनिया बहुत ही अलग और ब्यूटीफुल है। एंड अगर आप अपने लेफ्ट ब्रेन के साथ लॉजिकली उसे अलाइन कर लेते हैं तो आप बहुत ही ज्यादा शायद अपना पर्पस ढूंढ पाएंगे अपनी जिंदगी में, जो कि लॉजिकली अलाइंड होगा सस्टेन करने के लिए। तो वहां से मेरी जर्नी शुरू होती है। एंड फ्रॉम देयर कम्स राउंड अम्ब्रेला। राउंड अम्ब्रेला इज okay. Round Umbrella started with the purpose of bringing radical experiences with simple physical products. इतनी सारी हम लोग आजकल वॉइस कमांड्स देते हैं, फिर हम सोच रहे हैं कि एक दिन ऐसे गेस्चर करेंगे और चीजें हो जाएंगी। उस चीज से दूर रहने के लिए, या फिर उस एज अ प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर हमारे जो बॉडी के सेंसेस हैं, कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए कि हम म्यूटेशन की तरफ बढ़ जाएं। सो फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट्स को रखते हुए रैडिकल एक्सपीरियंसेस को कैसे लाया जाए इस दुनिया में। करेंटली हम आज की डेट में, क्योंकि टाइम कम है, हम सिर्फ अपने नेक्स्ट प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात करेंगे, जो कि है बल्बी। बल्बी एक चिल्ड्रंस आइडिएशन गेम है जो कि डिजाइन थिंकिंग के ऊपर बेस्ड है। मैं आपको एक वीडियो दिखाना चाहूंगी बिफोर आई गो फॉरवर्ड। एक सेकेंड, शायद मुझे शेयर अपना चेंज करना पड़े। ये सॉरी फॉर दिस, ये कैसे शेयर चेंज कर सकती हूँ मैं? स्टॉप शेयरिंग पे जाके। ओके, ऑलराइट, मैं प्ले करती हूँ ये वीडियो। Creativity is a perspective. Creativity is a habit. It's innate, it's universal, it's contagious, and so is Bulby. Bulby is a light and shadow ideation game based on the concept of making more novel combinations. A roller plus a paintbrush is a roller brush. A tape and a roller is a lint roller. An automobile and a roller is a road roller. Geniuses are geniuses because they form more novel combinations than the merely talented. Bulby is based on connecting two dynamic shadows to form a novel pattern. Bulby relies on the innate skill of making combinations, and so it makes creativity effortless and definitely fun. Bulby is proud of being an immersive game, yet not a digital game. Bulby builds on the skill of storytelling, observing, comparing, describing, and ideating. We truly believe that Bulby has the creative confidence for the next generation. Bulby makes you feel that creative kick, and while you feel it, listen to the amazing Bulby jingle. There's no way to open up your mind, so can't see what you find. What can you create in front of the light? Think of a shape and what comes about. There's a world to see behind the curtain. So take a look at your own creation. Let the light shine on your imagination. All right. So ये हमारा अभी करंट गेम है बल्बी, जिस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं। ये डिजाइन थिंकिंग पे बेस्ड है, और जिस तरीके के डिजाइन थिंकिंग हम लोग जानते हैं, इट इज एम्पैथी, डेफिनेशन, आइडिएशन, प्रोटोटाइप एंड टेस्ट। करंटली ये जो गेम मैंने दिखाया ये आइडिएशन पे बेस्ड है। हम एक रेंज ऑफ गेम्स बना रहे हैं जो कि एम्पैथी, डिफाइन और प्रोटोटाइप एंड टेस्ट। तो हम एक पूरा पैकेज बनाएंगे जिससे डिजाइन थिंकिंग बच्चों तक पहुंचाई जा सके। क्रिएटिविटी कंटेजियस है, क्रिएटिविटी यूनिवर्सल है, क्रिएटिविटी बाउंड्रीलेस है। एम यही है कि हमारे इंडिया के बच्चे Why can't they be on an international platform and just be themselves without being in the boundary of the culture that we're brought up in, or प्रॉब्ली जितनी भी सबकॉन्शियस बाउंड्रीज हैं जो हमारे अंदर है, मेरे अंदर है, आपके अंदर है, क्योंकि हम एक लोकेशन बेस्ड रियलिटी में जीते हैं. हम लोग एक टोटली इंडिजिनियस इनिशिएटिव हैं, क्रिएटिव कॉन्फिडेंस को ग्लोबल लेवल पर लाना चाहते हैं, और जिस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट अभी टॉयज इंडस्ट्री या टॉय रेवोल्यूशन लाना चाहती है, उसका हिस्सा बनना चाहते हैं. अभी हमारा आप लोगों के सामने या फिर आप लोगों के साथ यहाँ पर है, कोई भी अगर ऐसा सोचता है कि ओके फाइन, विद दिस फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट्स एंड विद द फिजिकल एक्सपीरियंस क्रिएशन मैं इस चीज के साथ अलाइन करता हूँ, तो आई वुड प्रॉब्ली बी इंटरेस्टेड इन कि अगर आप मुझे लिखना चाहते हैं तो आप लिख सकते हैं shiva@roundumbrella.com. जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो टॉयज के साथ काम कर रहे हैं या फिर एजुकेशनल प्रोडक्ट्स के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, वी आर डेफिनेटली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू लुक विद यू गाइज. सारे स्टूडेंट्स, फैकल्टीज, टीचर्स, अगर आपके पास न्यू लर्निंग आइडियाज हैं, डेफिनेटली राइट टू अस. लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड. ब्यूरोक्रेट्स जो शायद अटेंड कर रहे होंगे टॉय रेवोल्यूशन लाने में, we are totally in for India. I'm absolutely in love with India. Please, let's work together and make this happen. That's about me. Looking forward to you guys. Slide was not visible. Okay. That's fine. Okay, thank you so much, Pranav.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, I would request our participants to slide in their questions. Yeah, so there is one question from FB chat, and that is, what is your aim for 10 years, upcoming 10 years?
Okay. जिस तरीके से हम लोग अभी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी वाले गेम्स, आप किसी भी 2 साल के बच्चे को देखोगे मोबाइल पे गेम खेल रहा होगा. स्टार्टिंग अगर आज ये डेट है, इमेजिन कि आगे जाके क्या होने वाला है. माई एम एज अ प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर इज टू कीप द टैंजिबिलिटी अलाइव इन द प्रोडक्ट्स दैट वी आर बिल्डिंग. एज अ प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर मेरे को हमेशा लगता है कि ओके फाइन, क्या जरूरी था कि हम अपना ये मैग्नेट वाले गेम को कंप्यूटर वाले गेम में कन्वर्ट करना जरूरी था? शायद नहीं था. तो एज अ प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर वी शुड, और एज अ डिजाइनर या फिर एज अ कोई भी प्रोडक्ट क्रिएटर, क्या कुछ चीजें तो जरूरी नहीं है उनको लाइफ में लाना चाहिए था? तो सिमिलरली मेरा ये गोल रहेगा कि किसी भी चीज को जो अभी लाइफ में आ रही है उसके अंदर टैंजिबिलिटी की एग्जिस्टेंस अगर है तो उसको रखे रहना, बनाए रखना. तो जितने भी प्रोडक्ट राउंड अम्ब्रेला लेकर आएगा, एज ह्यूमंस को ह्यूमंस रहने देना. लेट द ह्यूमंस बी मोर ह्यूमन. सो अगर हमारे किसी सेंस के साथ वो केटर नहीं करती तो हम उसको चाहेंगे कि वो रहे. तो 10 साल के गोल में शायद यही अलाइनमेंट लाने की कोशिश रहेगी. हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स में हमेशा वही आपको दिखेगा, इनोवेशन दिखेगा टैंजिबल फॉर्म्स में. तो यही शायद मेरा गोल रहेगा. किस चीज को कितना बड़ा कर सकते हैं वो हमारे सोच में तो आज कुछ भी लग सकता है, पर जो होगा वो समय बताएगा. तो उस चीज को मैं इस तरीके से जवाब नहीं देना चाहती कि हम ये कर लेंगे वो कर लेंगे. मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि किस पर्पस के साथ मैं अलाइंड हूँ, और फिर उसके साथ वो कहाँ पहुंचता है वो तो समय ही बताएगा.
Sure. There is one more question here, and that is, could you please tell where did you start designing these products and how did you extend the reach of your product?
I started designing these products in NID. That is where I did my post-graduation from. That is National Institute of Design. I studied product design. वहाँ पे हमारे courses हैं. तो मेरा first product was a car washing glove, जो कि Times of India में cover हुआ था उस समय. The whole thing was कि आप गाड़ी धो भी रहे हैं और साथ में पानी भी निकल रहा है. सो आपका ऐसे तो वो बाद में जाके वो प्रोडक्ट काफी सारे चीजों में कन्वर्ट हुआ. उसके बाद वहां से मेरी प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनिंग की शुरुआत हुई. आई थिंक इंजीनियरिंग में भी हम बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स बना ही रहे थे, हम सभी बना रहे हैं. तभी भी मैं शायद एक वाटर फिल्टर बनाया था, ये बनाया था, काफी सारे हर कंपटीशन में रोबोटिक्स से लेके हर जगह पार्टिसिपेट कर रही थी। बट उन एक इंजीनियर्ड प्रोडक्ट में और एक डिजाइंड प्रोडक्ट्स में जो डिफरेंस आता है वो होता है आपका कंसिडरेशन ऑफ ह्यूमन बॉडी, कि आप उससे कैसे इंटरेक्ट करेंगे, आपका एक्सपीरियंस अराउंड दैट प्रोडक्ट एंड द थॉट प्रोसेस ऑफ एक ह्यूमन को कंसिडर करते हुए सोचना। लाइक आई वुड से कि अगर मैं एक टेक कंपनी हूँ तो मैं ये कहूंगी यार देखो एक नया टेक आया यार, 3D आई, ये रेटिना मोशन, ये वो, एक काम करो अपने प्रोडक्ट में लगा दो। और अगर मैं एक डिजाइनर हूँ तो आई थिंक आई वुड से यार ठीक है यार, नया टेक है तो क्या जरूरी है, चाहिए हमको, क्या चाहिए हमारे कस्टमर को, या फिर क्या इससे हम रियल में बेटर हो रहे हैं, क्या इससे सच में एट अ ह्यूमन लेवल हम पॉजिटिव जा रहे हैं या नेगेटिव जा रहे हैं। सो ये जो एक डिफरेंस है, ये इंजीनियरिंग करके आप डिजाइन में जब आते हो तो वो आप बहुत ज्यादा फेस करते हो। आप इवेंचुअली रियलाइज करते हो कि ह्यूमन सेंटर्ड इनोवेशन को किस तरीके से लाया जाता है, rather देन यार एकदम अमेजिंग बना दिया है, आप इसको डाल दे प्रोडक्ट में कैसे भी करके। सो दैट इज द डिफरेंस विच कम्स इन, that is what it is.
Yes, sure, ma'am. There is one more question. How interesting did you find the domain of designing? How versatile is such course that it can be extended to multiple domains?
I think second year में when I was in my second year, तब जब आई थिंक मैं ऑलरेडी एक यहाँ पे IIT बॉम्बे में एक इवेंट होता है, ये IIT बॉम्बे का जो एंड फेस्ट होता है उसे क्या बोलते हैं, टेक फेस्ट। ओके, IIT बॉम्बे का जो टेक फेस्ट होता है वहां पर पहुंची थी। वहां पर एक कंपटीशन था कि सब्जी की जो कार्ट होती है उसे डिजाइन करना है। वहां पे एक इंटरनल इंस्टीट्यूट है विच इज कॉल्ड IDC के अंदर ये कंपटीशन हो रहा था। उनके प्रोफेसर थे प्रोफेसर बापट, और हम लोगों ने वो कार्ड डिजाइन की। तो उस समय मैंने ये डिजाइन किया था कि एक वेजिटेबल की जो कार्ट है अभी तक सिर्फ ऐसे चलती रहती है, वाई नॉट उसे एक केक की तरह बनाओ। वो 3 लेयर वाला केक होता है ना, तो ऊपर से आदमी कोई देखेगा तो वो देख पाएगा कि क्या क्या सब्जी है, तो दौड़ के नीचे भी आ सकता है। और फिर सब्जी वाला भी जब बेच रहा है तो वैसे घुमा सकता है अपनी कार्ट, तो आराम से आप खरीद सकते हो। तो ये उस समय ये किया। तो उन प्रोफेसर ने मुझसे कहा कि एक काम करो, आप डिजाइनिंग कर लो। अभी तक आपको थोड़ा बहुत जो भी आइडिया आता है बहुत ही इस तरीके का होता है कि हाँ रॉ, तो आप थोड़ा ये पढ़ सकते हो। तो वहां से मुझे पता चल गया कि ओके फाइन, ऐसा नहीं है कि इंजीनियरिंग से डिजाइनिंग कोई बहुत बड़ा स्विच हो रहा है, इट मे बी इज अलाइंड। तो सेकेंड ईयर में जब मैंने ये डिसाइड किया इवेंचुअली, देन आई स्टार्टेड लर्निंग की डोमेन ऑफ डिजाइन, किस तरीके से हम अपनी कोर्सेज के साथ अलाइन करके इसमें आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। वर्सेटाइल, डेफिनेटली सो वर्सेटाइल। आज की डेट में आप डिजाइनिंग बोलते हो तो या तो पहले जब मैं आई थी अंदर तो लोगों को लगता था फैशन डिजाइन, बस डिजाइन बोला नहीं कि फैशन डिजाइन, एक्सेसरी डिजाइन, यही बोलने लग जाते थे। उसके बाद आज की डेट में डिजाइन बोलो यूजर एक्सपीरियंस, यूजर इंटरफेस, डिजाइन बोलते ही लगता है कि कंप्यूटर पे कुछ चल रहा है, अच्छा ये तो, और इतना उस चीज का। तो आई थिंक इवन देन काफी ज्यादा अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ डिजाइन आ चुकी है। कंपनीज फ्रॉम टेक लेड are going into design led companies, or in fact design led companies are doing much better. So इस तरीके से it is becoming, design thinking is something which is absolutely spreaded everywhere in companies. management से लेके lowest level तक लोग ध्यान दे रहे हैं कि how to change their thought process. तो इस तरीके से तो versatile तो बहुत ज्यादा है। in case you're thinking of getting into the design domain, it is really not a switch. It is a beautiful addition to your own perspective of life, जिसकी कोई खुद की वैल्यू नहीं होती। तो please, if you're interested a little bit, please go ahead, have a look at the courses available right now.
Sure, ma'am. Your innovations are really amazing. Now we have one more question from a what do you think, how digital devices like mobile phones are impacting lives of
हेलो, प्रणव जी को मैं सुन नहीं सक रही हूँ, बट हेलो।
Hello, can
हाँ
you
हाँ
hear?
अभी सुन सकती हूँ। हाँ 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 सुन सकती हूँ।
How are our children like more?
जहाँ तक मैं अपने प्रोडक्ट्स का रिसर्च करती हूँ, पेरेंट्स से बहुत ज़्यादा बात करती हूँ, अपने प्रोडक्ट्स जब उनको दिखाती हूँ या हम लोग बात करते हैं आगे बढ़ने की, तो हमेशा उन लोगों का यही कंप्लेन रहता है कि हमारे बच्चों को गुड स्क्रीन टाइम के बारे में बता दीजिए आपके प्रोडक्ट्स के थ्रू, या फिर क्योंकि हम जहाँ तक हम लोग देख रहे हैं, हम ये नहीं देख पा रहे कि जितना कितने ज़्यादा बच्चे देख लेते हैं चीज़ें जो हम सोचते नहीं हैं। इसीलिए तो इतने सारे फायरवॉल्स हैं, इसीलिए तो इतनी सारी लॉक सिस्टम्स हैं डिवाइसेस में। तो पेरेंट्स एब्सोल्युटली उनका पूरा ध्यान ये रहता है कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं मोबाइल पे। सो आई थिंक या तो पॉजिटिव तो नहीं है, जहाँ तक 6 to 11 या 10 इयर्स की एज तक पेरेंट्स का बच्चों के साथ डिजिटल बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रेंडली होना पॉजिटिव तो नहीं है। और ये बहुत ही नॉर्मल आंसर है, मतलब सबको पता है ये बात।
Sure, ma'am. It clearly says that how hard we are making our children alive. And one more thing is that even today that teenagers are getting too much into digital devices that their connections are getting lost. It would be really hard for networking part.
Yeah, very true.
One more thing
Hmm.
that could you tell more about your team?
Yeah. Okay. So my supply chain guy is an IIM Ahmedabad person. He's known as Mohit Saini. The marketing is done by Chanchal Chakrashatri. He's done his graduation from IIM Kashipur, and he looks at all the innovative marketing initiatives that we are planning to do or we do. And that way, we're just 3 people right now. We hire interns intermittently whenever we have work. Right now, we're planning to launch outside India, and we have a lot of work for interns in marketing. If somebody is looking for working with us and is aligned to what we are doing and it feels passionately कि हाँ ये होना चाहिए, so please definitely write to us at my email ID. You will be working with some really nice people. एंड हम बाहर लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, तो शायद बहुत सारी रिसर्च आपको करने का मौका मिले और बहुत सारे नए लोगों को जानने का मौका मिले.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It is indeed a very honorful day. You told us your innovative ideas and your journey. So I'm very, very grateful to you that you attended this session. And I hope all of the participants would have enjoyed this session very much. Thank you, Shivani ma'am, and thank you all our other guests who took sessions today.
Yeah.
I request all of you to attend today's evening session that two are based on space and tech, and that too would be very fulfilling for all of us. Thanks a lot.
Bye.